School is back in session and all the kids are excited to go back to school. You're seeing all the first day outfit pictures on social media, but not all the kids are excited to go back to school. For some, the first day of school can bring feelings of anxiety and fear, especially if they're experiencing any kind of bullying. I don't know if any of you remember the scene in the movie Mean Girls where Tina Fey's character asks the group if they've ever been victimized by Regina George, and everybody's hands go up, including some of the teachers. So I bet a bunch of you could probably quickly come up with some names of people who made your life a living hell through your school years, especially middle school and high school. Or maybe you have a frenemy in your group right now as an adult. Bullying is unfortunately something that has been a part of our culture since the beginning of time, I think. I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. Even as an adult, you can get bullied by your friends, you can get bullied by colleagues, your boss, somebody in a superior position. We see people, putting others down in so many capacities, professionally, politically, on social media, everywhere. We're just inundated with messages of people putting other people down. And, little known fact, I was actually bullied a lot all through my school years, especially middle school and high school. And I was very isolated and very alone through much of my school years. So I was made fun of because I used to have really jacked up teeth. Like, they were just everywhere. And my family was too poor to get me braces. And middle school is an awful time anyways because you're just going through so many changes. But that was the time where everybody in my school was getting braces and I couldn't. And there were a bunch of kids that I went to school with who made fun of me because my teeth were not straight and I couldn't get braces because we were too poor. And that was another thing that I was made fun of. I was made fun of for being the poor kid in school, and I lived in a really small town, so everybody kind of knew our family situation. They knew that we were the poor family, and there were even parents who told their kids they couldn't play with me because my mom was a drug addict and we came from a really poor family. So I spent most of my time alone, and everybody knows in school that lunchtime and the cafeteria culture is probably one of the scariest places in the world when you're a teenager. Even though I was friends with some of the popular kids and I was even considered one of the pretty girls, a lot of people don't know that I actually ate by myself pretty much every day at lunch. I would go and eat my lunch in the locker room. I would go and spend time in the library. And even though I had some friends, I spent a lot of time alone. I was very active in school. I was in a bunch of clubs and I was president of a bunch of things, and I had a very active social life. I just felt very isolated and I felt very alone, and I was bullied a lot. I remember there was even one time in 6th grade where I didn't get an invitation to this girl's birthday party, which is a huge deal in middle school, because I didn't have Jinko jeans. These were these hideous, ugly skater jeans that kids wore back then, and they were like $100 a pair, and my family didn't have that kind of money. And I look back at that now and it's so stupid, but just little things like that can rock your world when you're in middle school. So I bring all this up to say, what can we do as women to support each other, stop bullying each other, and stop being a bully ourselves if that's the case? Bullying, unfortunately, doesn't go away when you're an adult. We change the environment that bullying occurs. It's not school, it could be work, it could be our personal lives, it could be our relationships with our families, it could be our romantic relationships, it could be our friendships. There are things that we can do to, one, not feel bullied, and two, to recognize if we are being a bully. And I think the first step to tackling bullying in our lives is empathy. Trying to put yourselves in the other person's shoe, try to understand why they're coming at you every single day. Maybe something's going on in their life. And something I've learned along the way is that the way people treat you has so little to do with you. It has to do with what's going on in their life, their current mood, their history, and maybe 1% to do with you. So by knowing that, it can help you feel more confident and brush off what other people are saying if they're putting you down, because you know that you're solid in yourself, and what they're saying probably has nothing to do with you really, and it has to do with them. The second thing that's most important, especially if you're doing the bullying, is to evaluate your values and how you're living your life according to your standards. Really quick, Zulsa is chomping away at her bone in the background, if that's what you're hearing. Yesterday was National Dog Day, so I'll let it go. I did a video a while back that talked about developing your value statement, and I can't drive home the point enough how critical it is to know your values and to have them visible in front of you every single day and to review them every single day. Because if you're writing down your values and you're reviewing them, you are already taking steps towards being a more confident and congruent person, and you're not going to need to put others down to feel good, because you're not basing your confidence on your competition with somebody else. Because in reality, we're not in competition with each other, especially women. We are not in competition with each other. We have enough going against us. We don't need to pit ourselves against one another. So if your value as a person is, I value kindness, but you're gossiping about your friend, you're not demonstrating kindness and you're not living congruently. Writing your values down, knowing what your standards are, and then living up to them yourself will help end the cycle of bullying that's occurring in your life, whether that's you being the bully or you being bullied by someone. Another critical way to combat bullying, especially if you're an adult, it's a little scarier to think of, you have to tell somebody. You have to encourage someone who's experiencing any kind of bullying or intimidation to tell somebody. Maybe that's a counselor. Maybe that's, your HR department at work. Maybe that's your boss. Maybe it's a lawyer if it goes that far. You have to communicate that you are experiencing intimidation or bullying. And if your kid is experiencing, you have to encourage them to tell you, because I'll tell you what, there's a bunch of little kids walking around being hurt, and they're afraid to tell because they think the situation's going to get worse, or they think nobody would believe them. I'll tell you right now, as a kid being bullied, I know that as the pretty girl with the active social life and in all of these clubs and in sports, I don't think anybody would have believed me if I told them I was being bullied on a daily basis. So if you have a kid that's experiencing bullying, you might not even know, or that might be the furthest thing from your mind. So check in with them. If you're doing the bullying, check in with yourself. What is it that's driving you to put others down to make you feel better about yourself? And how can we combat that level of low self-esteem? By knowing your values in and out. So that's my little bit about bullying. I thought it was a pertinent subject to talk about with school starting over. So if you're being bullied or you're bullying somebody, empathy. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. Try to understand where they're coming from. Write your value statement. Read it every single day. Get very clear on your values and tell somebody. Let somebody know what you're experiencing. Even if it's a counselor and you're just venting, let somebody know. You do not have to go through this alone. Unfortunately, bullying is not going to go away in our society, but you can minimize it in your life, and you can help eliminate it from somebody else's life that's close to you. So that's it for today. I hope it was helpful. I hope it was interesting to you. Tag a friend that maybe needs to hear this today. I'll leave a link also to my value statement video if you want to learn how to write your value statement. I think it's really important to building your inner confidence. If you're not already, follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I post a lot of content there, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out videos every week. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week, and remember to stay true to your truthitude. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.